Hi, welcome to the Gear Garage. My name is Zach, and this is my little show about whitewater things. Today I want to talk about catching an eddy using the pulling method with an oar boat. This is pulling on the oars upstream to make your way over to an eddy. This is, I feel like, the most common method. It's the most conservative method and the one most people use. It's not always the most effective in all cases, but it's a great place to start. And this is a technique that all people rowing should learn how to do well, and you definitely need to do to get better at rowing. So to catch eddies, you typically, the things you generally want to have are position, speed, angle, and timing. The timing means you have all these things at the same time. So you have your position, speed, and angle happening at the same time. And so if the water's flowing down here, creating an eddy line, this is the eddy with the water flowing back up. Basically what you're gonna do is get on the oars, get a ferry angle, and just pull on the oars, which is your more powerful way to do it. Pull yourself so you cross the eddy line up high and go into the eddy. And so at this point, we have a few things. We have the position. It's very easy to get position with a pull because you're going slow and you're being deliberate, and it's actually the easiest method for getting the right position. And the right position here is at as high as the eddy as you can, like right behind there if you can. A lot of people will come in down low because they miss their position, and that's why they miss the eddy. So you really want to get your position up high. Next is speed. I'm going to call this speed or momentum. In a light boat, I'm going to call this speed. In a heavy boat, because there's so much mass, I'm going to call this momentum. But if you start here and turn and pull, you're going to have a hard time gaining speed or momentum over here. So generally, what we do is actually, if you want to catch an eddy on the right, start on the left and then pull, and you're building speed to the river right side so you can cross the eddy like that. So that's speed. That's how you get speed to go across the eddy line. Next is angle. And our ideal goal for crossing an eddy line is to be about 90 degrees crossing it. Well, when you're pulling, you're not 90 degrees. You're like, I don't know, that's some different amount of degrees. It depends how you measure it. But you really ideally are like crossing it like this somehow. And on the pull, you're kind of parallel to it, or like close to parallel. And what happens is you hit this eddy line and it just kind of messes with you. And it's really hard to cross it. And so it's hard to get the angle with this technique. So in timing, again, it's just getting them all at the same time. So your goal is to come down, ferry, 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 pull across this. And then when you struggle on the eddy line, just keep that angle and just keep pulling, pulling, pulling. Or if you're pulling down, when you get right here, turn the boat and pull it across. That's a pretty effective technique. Like pull on the oars, get your position and speed right, at the last minute get some angle and pull yourself in. So that's just something you can try. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to show you some examples here of it working and not working. And the idea is I'm going to have a red line that demonstrates the eddy line, a green line that's in line with the boat, and just kind of showing some different positions, speeds, and angles on this pulling method. For this first example, this green boat is doing that technique, pulling upstream, ferrying over to the eddy, and his position is going to be off a little bit. This blue circle represents the rock he can be close to. He's about 10 feet off. The red dotted line is the eddy line, and the green line is his angle of attack. So he has okay position. He's not 90 degrees to the eddy line, although he can't really get that way with this technique, but good velocity going into the eddy. And you'll see he's struggling crossing the eddy line a little bit, until now when he actually gets his boat 90 degrees to the eddy line and is able to pull it in. The next boat has much better position, really close to this rock, like almost as close as you can get. Good velocity coming from left to right, but again, not 90 degrees to the eddy line, which is the downfall of this pulling technique. She again is doing everything right, but is struggling a little bit because there's not like that angle of attack to cross the eddy line. This next example is a more challenging eddy catch, and he's doing a good job of getting right behind that rock. The position is good. He's pretty close to that rock. He could be closer. He's built momentum taking him to the right, or velocity to the right. But again, with the pulling technique, you can't get a 90-degree angle across the eddy line. So once he crosses the eddy, he kind of gets fumbled with it. And the key to his success was catching it early. His position really saved him in this one. Here's a tiny eddy, and I'm trying to catch a small one to talk to some friends. There's a little eddy line. I want to get as close as I can to that rock, but I can't get 90 degrees. It's almost impossible to do here. So I'm going to pull as much as I can and get as close as I can to that rock. And because the eddy line's hard to cross, I'm just going to pull and pull hard and keep going until I'm finally across. This last example is a 18-foot gearboat. Ellie's doing a great job here. And she's built speed from the left to the right. She's really close to that rock, especially for a big, heavy gearboat. And her goal is to cross this eddy line. But with this pulling technique, again, she can't get 90 degrees to the eddy line. So she's going to fight the eddy line. But this is what it looks like. When you're rowing a big, heavy gearboat, you get the position, you get the velocity, and you just pull, and fight that eddy line until you can finally stop. It tends to be a lot of work. So that's it for catching eddies with the pulling method. Again, a skill we should all have, we should all be good at and practice with. If you have questions, thoughts, concerns, something to add in the comment section below. I love having discussions there. And yeah, see you in the next episode. Thanks.